The only thing that is certain about the next year of our lives is that there will probably be a whole lot more uncertainty in store. So in order to not just survive, but I want to thrive in the next year, you'll want to be extra intentional about who you are surrounding yourself with. I've been thinking a lot about this lately, and so today I'm sharing with you the 3 kinds of people that I am intentionally surrounding myself with right now. Okay, here we are. It is crazy to say that we are coming to a close on the wild roller coaster of a year that is 2020. And, for as many memes as have been flying around this whole year, people asking, can we fast forward to 2021? It's funny because being at this point now, having just a few weeks to go till the end of the year, I don't necessarily think 2021 is going to miraculously be this return to what we thought was normal before. I really think that over the next 12, maybe 15 months, there is a lot of uncertainty ahead, but I don't think that's always a bad thing. I think uncertainty this year, if I really look, it's taught me how resilient I am. It's really showed me the leadership capability I had to show up for the people I care about in a time that was really challenging. And it's also really taught me how big an impact the people that I surround myself with have on how I show up every day. So as I'm kind of winding down 2020 and setting my goals for 2021, one of the biggest goals or intentions that I'm setting is around the kind of people I want to surround myself with. And I'm a huge believer that, our circle, our girl gang, if you want to call it, has a lot to do with our success and our happiness. And that can feel a little harsh sometimes. I'm not a big believer in just cutting people out. I think sometimes relationships will naturally kind of go their own way when they're meant to. But I know that one of the things I can control is who I'm surrounding myself with. And when I think about the woman I want to become over the next year, I know that based on those goals, there's going to be 3 types of people that are really, really important to have around me. And here's the thing I want to share about this. I'm setting these characteristics, I guess you could say. I'm kind of identifying the 3 types of people I want to have around. I'm not necessarily getting attached on who they are. I think when we set these intentions for ourselves, not getting too hyper attached on specific friendships or relationships that have to be this for us, we're just open to creating these kind of relationships in our lives and being intentional about, showing up in ways that bring these people into our path. Then I don't put too much pressure on any one person to be this kind of support for me. But I'm going to share with you the 3 types of people that I just know are going to be so critical for me to surround myself with if I'm going to go where I want to go. And I want you to listen for which of these, if you want to steal any of my ideas or if you want to come up with your own. But as you are thinking about the next year, the next, 15 months, right? So now till the end of 2021 and beyond, I really want you to think about, first of all, who do you want to become? Right? Not what outward goal you want to achieve, but who do you want to become? And then who do you need to surround yourself with in order to help you get there? What influences do you need to have on your life that maybe you don't have right now? And who do you want to be really intentional about finding and building relationships with? Okay, so when I think about that, I feel like I've been on this huge growth journey this last year, and I kind of like it. I feel like I'm growing into the version of myself I think deep down I knew I was always meant to be, and then finding new layers to that always. So I know I'm committed to staying on that growth journey. It's actually what motivates me most, far beyond any outward results. Who I get to become in the process is my biggest motivator. So I want to grow. I really want to grow this year. And in order to do that, here are the 3 types of people that I'm getting really intentional to make sure that I have in my corner and in my life. The first one is people who focus on what is possible. And what I mean by that is, it's not like we are ignoring some of the challenges or the real world scenarios that we are faced with. That's not what I mean. I don't just need to be surrounded by positive, happy people who ignore real issues. No, but I love to surround myself, and I find that I show up best when I'm surrounded by really solution-oriented people. So people who don't focus on so much the challenges and limitations, but when they come, they can be honest, like do an honest assessment of like, okay, here's where we are now, whatever it may be. If the economy takes a turn or whatever may happen, something happens to your industry, to be able to assess the situation and say, okay, yep, this is tough. No doubt about it. Let's be real. But I'm going to choose to focus on what is possible. What can I control and what can I do in this situation? Because one of the biggest things that I have learned is that it takes just as much of my energy to envision the best case scenario as it does to envision the worst case scenario. And I know that to keep moving forward, even in the midst of challenge, it's really important to just pause, address any emotions that come up or any of those real feelings that sometimes come along with a really challenging situation. But then as quickly as I can to move from a place of like, oh no, this is the worst, like what are we gonna do? To, okay, now what? What can I do? So people who focus on what is possible, when I surround myself with people like that, it helps me make that switch a whole lot faster. Because trust me, my mind doesn't immediately go there all the time. So that's the first type of person that I'm getting really intentional to surround myself with. The second one is people who challenge me to think bigger. And this is a big reason why I talk all the time about always having a mentor or being a part of a mastermind. This year I'm getting really intentional with surrounding myself with more peers who are on a similar growth journey as I am, and still participating in all those other things as well. So, still participating in a mastermind, making that a really big priority to invest in, because I've really seen the difference it made this year, even in the midst of incredible uncertainty. I mean, there was a point where everything I had planned for the year in terms of my business was like very clear it wasn't going to happen, right? No live events. A lot of the things that I was basing my whole year around weren't going to be able to happen. But because I had a mentor, someone to help me see through to the other side, and again, back to number 1, focus on what is possible, I came through that, and I believe I created something even better. We created something even better. So that's number 2, people who challenge me to think bigger. And then the third one, and I think, again, this is the ethos of Powerhouse Women. This is literally what we live and breathe and what has made this business, this community so successful, is I'm making sure to surround myself with people who I can collaborate with. And I almost feel like collaborate isn't a strong enough word. I'm talking like getting really intentional with finding other people who have similar goals. Maybe they have similar audiences where we are going to come together and intentionally lift each other's businesses up, share contacts, refer each other, use our platforms to help shine a light on that other woman. And I think it's this whole idea that I've talked about before of making like the hashtag women supporting women so much more than just a hashtag. I have nothing wrong with the hashtag. Please, don't misunderstand this. I love women supporting women. But, for me, I'm seeing that there is an opportunity to collaborate on a deeper level, be more intentional with probably a smaller group of people so I can actually, hold up my end of the bargain, but intentionally support myself or surround myself with people who I can collaborate with on a deep level, who are really aligned, and it makes sense for us to share our resources and our audiences. And I'm really excited to see the difference that makes, because that's totally how I live my life. And I'm going to take it to a whole new level of intentionality this year. So if you're looking for women like that, the Powerhouse Women Facebook group is a great place to start. Plug into this community, find women who align with where you're going, and don't expect it to be everyone. Even if you found, one or two women who you're on a similar growth trajectory, you have similar goals or a similar audience, you can really lift each other up and use your platform to shine light on what someone else is doing, and in turn, they do it for you. Even if you find just a handful of people to do that with, I think those are the people that we're going to look, and hopefully we're part of this group, right? But at the end of 2021, we're going to say, wow, just look at the growth that they've had. Look at the impact they've made. I really do believe that if you focus on surrounding yourself with people who talk about what is possible more than they talk about what's not, people who challenge you to think bigger, and people you can intentionally collaborate with, I believe, and this is what I'm claiming for myself, and you are totally able to plagiarize this and steal it and use it too, is I believe that that's how we're going to become the best versions of ourselves. And if you feel the same way that I do, that who you become in the journey is more important to you than any outcome, and I think if you are more intentional about who you need on your team, who you need in your life, in order to make that happen, I think that is actually how we have the biggest growth and how we produce the biggest impact possible. So obviously you can plug into the Facebook community. If you're not already a part of it, you just search Powerhouse Women Community on Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram. Share a little bit about yourself. We love to play matchmaker and connect women who need to know one another. That's one of my favorite things to do in life. And just know that if you feel right now like you don't have those kind of people around you, that they are out there. They are. You have to start first showing up as that person, as the type of person that you want to attract. And then you have to be willing to put yourself in the kinds of places like this very community where those kind of people hang out. So just know you really are never on this journey alone, but the more you get intentional, the more that you really sit down and take the time to spell out the kind of people you want to have in your life over the next year, I think we're going to take this next year of uncertainty, if that's what's coming, and we're not just going to survive it, we are going to truly thrive and come out the best versions of ourselves on the other side.